drop down, it's a bit similar to what we've done before. Start with your text tool. Let's say I'm going to do a menu. Oh, why is it doing that? It's flipping off that. I'll just make my type a little bit bigger so you can all see it. So I'm going to do a really big chunky one. So similar to what you've done before, once you've typed something, frame the selection. I've got this thing where it won't come up. My mouse is a bit dodgy. So you can get the frame selection from the file menu as well. Seems to be freezing. Hang on a sec. I need a new mouse. No? I'll have to do it through here. So let's just... frame the selection. I think I'll start again. I don't know what's going on with this. There we go, frame selection. So once you've got a frame, you can do what you've done before and fill it with something so you can see what you've got. And because it's a button, I might want to round it. You've got a rounding option there. So we get rounded corners. And we want to add an auto layout again. So that'll just let us treat it so it always stays in the middle. So once you've done that, you want to duplicate it for the other items that are going to drop down. So this might be a whole bunch of text. So information of some sort could be quite a lot smaller. So if you're trying to save screen space and you want a lot of information in here to drop down so people can read it, that's kind of an example of where you might use it. So I'm just going to make the background on my drop down item a little bit different to differentiate it. It's just so you can see it. And then this, I'm going to duplicate the other drop down, so this would be something else, and just make it a different colour as well. Now these two need to be framed as well together. This is the drop down. So by giving them a frame as well, and I'm going to name that drop down. Okay, so I have my main menu, so I just call that menu, and then this is the drop down. So they're kind of frames, so they're groups. So I'm going to move them close to each other to set it up. And then the whole thing is going to become a component. So just a normal component. And then you click again to get the variant. Now it's the variant which you're going to clip. Sorry, no, it's the first one you're going to clip. So you see this thing called clip content. That means I can, no, sorry, that's not working. I need to put another auto layout on that. It should all have auto layout, so I missed a step. Once it has an auto layout on it, then the clip content should work. Yeah, there it is. So what that lets you do is, if I look now at assets, you've just got the one object and the variance there. So this shows you what it's going to look like when that drops down. So with variance, it's two states, the beginning state and the second state. So something changes. And then between the states in prototype mode, you want to wire it up. So it's very simple wiring. When I click on the menu, select it to the drop-down menu, and then same thing back. Test it out. So make a frame. I'll just do an iPhone 16. Drag it on there. So I've got an instance of it. And then just test it out and see if it's working. So that's a simple drop down. Now to get a concertina effect where you've got a whole bunch of these dropping down. So if anybody's, where you might use it is if you said in your criteria that you needed an ingredients list, and obviously something like that's going to take up a lot of screen space. So that's where a little drop down could be useful, right? So the next step to make a concertina of them is to put a whole bunch of them together on the page, get them aligned and everything, and you're dragging them from the assets panel. And now obviously you could go in and, you know, duplicate. Once you've got this one component, you could duplicate it several times and change all the options and the colours and everything. But just to give you the basic idea, the next step then is on the actual page, and this is the difference from where other things you've done. You drag those on, and then on the page itself you drag over them and you make another auto layout on the page itself. Then when you play it, what we're hoping is that there'll be like a concertina effect where they all drop down. So you can see how it pushes the next thing down. So it's just a little bit of a different thing. At the end of the whole thing, you've got to drag them on and then add an auto layout on the page to get this to work. Yeah, so it won't work if you just drag them on. They need to be at another auto layout and then it'll work. So to get a whole bunch of different things, so obviously you would want to make different components. So instead of, I've just dragged the same one on, what you would do is you would go back and you would make a copy of the master. Yeah, so you can just make a second copy of it and you would start to edit it and, you know, change colours and all that kind of stuff. So let's just do that. Let's go hamburgers. I'm just going to say bread, shorter words so I don't have to change things. And then you would change the colours by editing the individual frames, etc. And go in here and change whatever text you wanted to change there. So you would see that component too. If I click in there, it now updates. And then when I drag that on the page, and I have those two next to each other, select them both, add the auto layout again, and then when I play it, it's going to do the concertina thing again. Only this time I've got a different coloured looking thing. Yep, so that's how you would do a whole bunch of different ones rather than just copying the same one. So you copy the original component, so you end up, obviously I should match that. That should match. So get a purple again, that colour. Then it would work on that page. So it would look the same. But if you don't add the auto layout, then you won't get the concertina effect happening. So if we play it now, we should see it's just sitting there. Text, 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 text. So you've got two different options. So you only need to make it once, copy that component, change the colours, change the text, change what's inside the variable, and then you've got your information hidden and only exposed when you need it. Okay, so have a go at that, particularly if you've got a lot of info and you're starting to feel your screen is crowded. That's a good way around it.